Vegan pumpkin dinner rolls. Now, I don't care if you like pumpkin or if you like sweet potato. Honestly, I don't even care if you're gluten-free. What I do care about is if you like bread. If you don't like bread, that's a problem, because these dinner rolls, they should be used to stuff teddy bears, used as emergency car airbags, used as freshly made edible stress balls. I bet you thought they were considered a side. Well, guess what? No. Or maybe you thought it was part of the main course. Wrong again. Dinner rolls are their own category, or maybe like a tool or silverware, a utensil. Let me tell you how. There comes a time when you're eating that not even a spoon or a knife or a fork is going to work to pick the rest of that up. The next reasonable option is to duck your head down and use that tongue to get everything up off of that plate. But unless you're 4 years old, you're a dog or a cat, the so-called reasonable option to do that has just dropped drastically. This is where the dinner roll comes in. Just grab that dinner roll and rip that thing open like your colon after a solid serving of baked beans. Then on that plate, drag it from left to right. All right, we're gonna make this one quick and dirty, because if you're making dinner rolls, you probably have other items that you're making along with this, so this needs to be no fuss, and also like things quick and dirty. Break out your equipment of choice. I'm using a stand mixer, then measure and line up all your ingredients. We're going to start by dumping in some flour. I'm using all-purpose. Typically, I like to use bread flour. To save you all the hoopla about the difference between bread flour and all-purpose flour, bread flour is basically just going to help make your end result more chewy. Going in with brown sugar next, and some yeast right after that. And then my spices. So a quicker option here would be to just use pumpkin pie spice, but I know you're a control freak, so I measured out every little ingredient to the measurement you like. Talking to you in the mirror. Give that a solid whisk to break up the party and get everyone holding hands. On to the wet stuff. Start out with some vegan butter that I should have diced up into tablespoon-sized cubes, some pumpkin, dairy-free milk, then make yourself some space to get the mixer going. Mom always told me to clean your room before playing with your equipment. She might have meant something else back then, but it seems very applicable here. When ready, hit the switch and hit the switch again. This is not working. Then notice your cord's not plugged in, making it extremely difficult to generate any power to the mixer. Once you get that going, take a look inside the mixer and you may notice flour hanging around the sides. My bowl is pretty wide, which is why this is happening. So I'm going to use a spatula to help move things along. At some point, your dough may look mixed together, but for some reason it's not separating away from the bowl. If that's happening to you, it would mean it's too sticky. Add a little bit more flour, a tablespoon at a time, until the dough begins to form a ball shape and no longer sticks to the wall of the bowl. When you're at this point, turn the speed up to medium on the mixer and let that knead for about another 5 to 8 minutes until smooth. I'm going to transfer the dough ball from the stand mixer over to a glass bowl. This way you can have a peek during the process. Typically, you could just leave this in the stand mixer and allow it to rise there. Cover the bowl and allow it to rise for about an hour or until doubled in size. Once it's doubled in size, remove the plastic and deflate the dough. I like to do this to it and I have no idea why, but try it. It feels good. I guess that's why. Get the dough out onto a oiled and or floured surface. Now, if you're really tedious, like your boy, toss the dough onto a scale and divide that number by 16. Continue to measure each piece along the way for accuracy and perfectly sized rolls. Once each piece is at the perfect size, you're going to form your dough balls and place them into your baking tray. So the method is pretty simple. Take the dough, pull each side of the dough up until you form somewhat of a teardrop shape. Place the teardrop upside down on the counter and use your palm to push the dough into the counter and away from you while using your fingertips to cuff the ball and pull the dough back towards you in a circular motion. You're basically doing this push and pull circular motion to tighten the dough and form a perfectly sized dough ball. I imagine as a masseuse, you may be pretty familiar with this motion on the body somehow. I'm not exactly sure what part of the body, but I imagine maybe the buns. Do this with all 16 pieces of dough, then cover the tray and allow that to proof again. Once you get here, you're in for the home stretch. After you get here, I would brush these with a little bit more vegan butter, then bring them to the oven. At this point, all that's left to do is wait for it. Thanks a ton, family. I love you all. If you make this or any of our recipes, don't forget to tag us on Instagram. As always, believe in good. Peace.